I'm Nick. I work at the Ethereum Foundation on the Python team, snake charmer, if you will. And I've been spending a lot of time working on ethPM, the Ethereum Package Manager. And I'm here hopefully today to convince you why it should be a part of your development pipeline and your daily workflow. Cool, so ETH is money logos. I think it's a pretty spiffy meme. Does a good job of abstracting away all the confusing things and illustrating what you can do with composability. You can build cool Lego masterpieces. And also as a developer, and I think most developers share this, we all loved Legos at some point in our lifetime, maybe still. Personally, I was more of a connects guy, so ETH is money connects, but you know, the idea is the same. So I'd like to present that ethPM is code Legos. So when we talk about Legos, what is a Lego? I think a Lego is an idea, a smart contract idea, but it also could be a community, it can be a company, it can be just a single developer. But what all these Lego abstractions share is that they require code to be an actual Lego. The code is what goes on the blockchain, and that is what we compose together to build new Legos or new Lego models. So who here has used OpenZeppelin? Hopefully some of you, right? It's a pretty phenomenal organization. I think the whole ecosystem would be struggling without them. They provide like really great Lego pieces. But they also are focused on the fundamental building blocks. So think like 2x2 Lego pieces or 4x2 Lego pieces. Like very important, but limiting. You can't build really intricate, fancy things with just square bricks. So I'd like to present that, an ethPM URI is equivalent to a Lego brick, and it doesn't have to be a 2x2. It can be any kind of Lego brick. It can be a person Lego, a wheel, a rocket Lego. But the idea of the Lego is contained in this string, and this is what we call an ethPM URI. And so it starts off with the scheme, which is ethPM. It's followed by the registry address, which should be ENS. Contract addresses are fine, but honestly, no one should be using them anymore. Everyone should be using ENS. Followed by the chain ID, which is optional. If it's left out, it defaults to the mainnet. And then you have the package name and the package version. And within this string, you can capture any ethPM package on any registry, pretty much any like Lego you want to pass around. Cool, so now let's play with some Legos. Hopefully this works out, we'll see. All right, so in ethPM, there are many ways to use ethPM, but the easiest way is with our CLI tool. And so this is it's pretty similar to other CLI package managers. Right now we have nothing available. But so let's pretend it's the year 2500 and some virus has mysteriously wiped out all humanity about 480 years before, and you're scrolling the blockchain looking for some good historic data on what happened. So with this activate command, you can activate any ethPM package right in your command line. So we have this URI, which would be all right, and so that's the ethPM URI for the Wuhan Hero Doctor package. And right now it's going to the registry, looking up the IPFS hash, and then it's going to IPFS and grabbing the package, and then it's making all the package assets available. And so you can see we have one contract instance that was available from this package, and we can use it right here. And I think it's inscription. And so yeah, the formatting is weird, but this is the data on the blockchain, and the doctor's name is in there somewhere. So now you know a little bit more about how humanity was wiped out. But okay, so that was just activating the package. We're not writing anything to disk. We're just playing with Legos. And so maybe something a little more present would be ETH2. In ETH2, we have this deposit contract, which is responsible for managing the ETH1 deposits. So this is, I think it's pretty much done, but if you're interested in what's going on, or you want to keep up to date as new PRs are merged in, you can use your CLI. So here we'll install it, and the URI will be from the ETH2 registry. Deposit contract. And so again, this is going to the registry, fetching the IPFS hash of the package, and then going to IPFS, and then since we installed it, it's writing it to disk, and now you can see with the list command, we have it available, and if you want to go look at it, this EPM Packages is pretty much like a node modules directory. You shouldn't mess with it, really, but here's the original manifest, and then you can see here is the registry contract. And also with this command line, you can uninstall, update packages. Same thing you can do with other command line tools. Cool, and we also have support like Etherscan contracts, verified contracts only, just because they're useful. This is like a very popular way to verify your contract for the world to see. So let's see, VDay, we copy this, and the Etherscan, ethPM, we'll just activate this. But you can also install these to disk, and it'll take the source file and all the assets and write them to disk. Etherscan, main chain. So right now, we also have the Etherscan API key loaded as an environment variable, but it's going and hitting the Etherscan API, it's packaging up all the assets it can, and then it's activating the package. And so right now we have this mainnet VDay instance, contract instance, all functions. So there's a message. Valentine's Day. So yeah, happy Valentine's Day, people. And if your name is Tats, TXX loves you. So you can do that with any verified contract on Etherscan, and you can interact with the instance right from your command line. So maybe something a little more fun would be the Compound protocol is pretty cool. So let's install that. So this is, again, installing the Compound package to disk. And you can see we have it here. There it is, 1.1.0. And then we can activate it. And now I'm going to pass in, with the CLI, you can set an encrypted key file. So I'm going to pass in the key file password. Which is just temporary, so don't try to hack me, please. So this is activating the package again. And so you can see with this package, there's a lot more useful assets in this package. We have all these contract factories. You can, right here in this IPython instance, you can deploy a contract factory on any testnet. And you also have these deployments here, which are all mainnet now, but they don't have to be. So yeah, we can, and again, these Web3 instances are seeded with your key file password, so it's automatic transaction signing, which can be useful because I hate setting up Web3 instances. No, balance of, and then we just pass in Cool. So there you go. We just queried our balance, and you can redeem. You can do whatever you want right here from your command line. So yeah, this is the CLI. It's a pretty easy way to get started with playing with ETHPM packages, but it's also not the only way. So if we take, let's say, the compound manifest URI, we can go to the Remix IDE, which is another great tool. And in Remix, yeah, we have this ethPM plugin for Remix. So you just pop this in here. And now it's importing. You have to do some permissions. And here you go. Now we have all those same sources, and we can, and we also have the deployment. So if you want to use the Remix interface to talk to the blockchain, that's fine. But yeah, you can just import any of these, and then you have them. Do some permissions, and then you have them here. So yeah, so that's just like hopefully entices you a little bit. It's an easy way to interact with any EPM package. So let's talk a little bit more about what is an EPM package, and it's just JSON. It's a structured JSON. We have a specification in our docs, and it's versioned also. So each release has a package name and a version, and those make the unique identifier for a specific package. And what's inside this JSON? Well, these are some of the main fields, but the most important ones are contract types and deployments. A contract type can be thought of just as a class definition of a contract idea, and a deployment would be an instance of a contract idea on one of the chains. And again, like some of the packages we played with, some were big, some were small, some had a lot of information, some had none. So it's a really flexible spec. You only need to include what you want to include. You can just put a contract address, and that can be your package. It can just be a single ABI, or it can be like an entire protocol across multiple chains. And what's a registry? So these were the ENS names in the ethPM URI, and this is where you go to fetch your content addressed URI that identifies the manifest or the JSON. And it's basically just an on-chain data store. There are 3 data points stored for each package release, a name, a version, and then the content addressed URI. So that can be anything like IPFS, Swarm, or GitHub blobs. And once it's on the blockchain, the only rule of a registry is you can't re-release the same package version twice. So you know that once a package has been released, you're always interacting with the assets that the author published. And yeah, so we have a federated model too. ethPM v1, we had one central registry, which is not the best security model. You don't want someone in charge of managing all these packages. So if you want to release a package, you publish a registry, or you deploy a registry, and then you publish your packages to that registry. And so this brings up the question of trust. In software, if you're a developer, if you're only using code that you write, like, you will never get far. We have to use code other people write. So with that assumption, I never go audit thoroughly the packages I use. I use them pretty blindly. Like, it doesn't take much for me to use a package. So they're not just in the blockchain world, in the normal programming paradigms, like, there's a large element of trust when it comes to using other people's code. And we kind of follow that model too in the blockchain world. And a lot of this trust is stored in the social layer. So, if I see a package with 20 million downloads or uses, then I'm like, it's probably good to use. And the malicious packages, when they're found to be malicious, usually tend to bubble up pretty quickly through our various social networking platforms. So, yeah, like, it's not great, but like, no one can just, you can't trust any code, all the code you find, right? Like, in ethPM, You should only use packages that you find on registries where you trust the owner. So the owner, the ENS name, or whoever manages a registry should be a party that you trust, whether it's an individual developer or a company. But the good news is once you do identify these registries, then you're good to go. You have tons of cool Legos to play with. And so, yeah, so playing with Legos is cool, but making Legos maybe is a little bit harder, requires a little more effort. Why would someone go to these extra steps when we already have so many extra steps? I'd argue, one, it's good for yourself. You don't end up with a million different ABI files, and you don't know which one was from which version, and you're looking up the contract address you deployed to on Ropsten last month. Versioning your smart contract development is very good practice for yourself. If you're a security auditor and you work hard to validate these Legos, ETHPM is an elegant protocol or solution to publicize your hard work and your audited bytecode and your audited smart contract files. And not only are you displaying that these are safe to use, in the same motion, you're making these available for developers everywhere to import with one line into their framework or to use your Legos. Same with companies and protocols, like you're trying to decrease the friction for developers to build on top of you. Publishing your contracts as ETHPM packages makes it just one step easier for any developer to import your package and to start building on top of it. And also for the ecosystem, the more Legos we have as an ecosystem, the more cool things we can build. Yeah, so an ETHPM package plus good documentation, because just because you have a package, you need to know how to use your package. So as always, good documentation is a must. And then it's easy for people to start building on top of, or start building with your Legos. So ETHPM support, it's a really simple specification to support. It's just JSON again, you're just parsing the JSON, or you're doing a couple calls to the blockchain and then parsing the JSON. Brownie, Remix, Truffle. Truffle supports version 1 of the spec. Version 2 support will come in the next major bump. We have libraries in Python, JavaScript, Rust, and Go, the CLI, Web3.py integration. But yeah, like, it's super easy to implement. I'd highly suggest that if you maintain a framework, then just go ahead and implement it, and it opens up this whole world of Legos to play with. We also have this ENS name. If you want to register your registry under a subdomain, just to make it easy for people to find, like, just let me know, hit me up on Gitter or Twitter, and I'm happy to add you. If you don't want to use this ENS name and you just want to list your registry in our directory, then just let me know. I'm happy to do that. Yeah, so this is kind of like what I'd really hope to see one day. If you go all the way to the right, we have our ETHPM widget, and so I'd just like to see that in any GitHub repo that has smart contracts. No more, you don't have to like copy and paste a smart contract, go into a remix, compile it to get the ABI, right? Now it's just like a one click, you have the URI and you're ready to go. And so I think this is, as a developer, this would just be like really useful. And so what's next? This on the left is probably the worst thing ever. I remember when I first started doing blockchains, you're dealing with real money and everyone says don't fuck up because you'll lose your money. And then you come to confirm this hex string, and you're like, I don't know what I'm doing anymore. So we really need to fix this, and on the right is kind of the solution we're moving towards. So we're working with the Solidity team, and ETHPM will be the specification they use for their metadata output in the compiler. And there's another project that's kind of running alongside ETHPM called Source Verify, and together we'll be able to provide a much better UX for users where you can have human-readable transaction confirmation, which is really the way it should be. Yeah, if you're hacking, or if you're not hacking, or if you just want to play around, this is how easy it is to get started. All the CLI needs is a Infura key, and then you're ready to go. Our website, we have docs, There's a lot of, we have an explorer for registries, but you can find everything of use from the, just ethPM.com or the docs. There's guides on how to use ETHPM. Creating your package is really easy with the CLI too. We have a Twitter. I'll be on Twitter this weekend, maybe, but Gitter is a much better place to find me. But if you're hacking and want to create a package or you just have any questions, like I'll be around all weekend, and like I'd love to help out. And yeah, that's it. So let's build some cool Lego masterpieces.
Yay. You have time for questions if you'd like. You got time for questions.
Questions. I mean, not right now, but it's pretty easy to implement, so sure, yeah, definitely.
Don't be shy, guys. It's good to ask questions. Compliments? All right, that's fine. All right, I can talk to you all day. No, we're waiting for our next presenter unless he snuck. Oh, there he is. Awesome. Okay, great. Thank you. Thank you, Nick, everybody.